Now we're going to look at adding our mind map underneath our title. Okay, so to start off with, I'm just going to move that out of the way for a second, and we're going to start off with adding the arrows. Now, as I mentioned when we were looking at the title, being neat and controlled is better than being creative and messy. Okay, so if you know you need help being controlled, then what I suggest you do for your arrows is you get yourself a ruler, use a pencil to start off with, and you simply draw your arrow in, but use a ruler to keep that line nice and straight. However, if you know you are quite controlled in your drawing and you want to be a little bit more creative, then what you could do is you could add some curves or even loops in your arrows to make it a little bit more creative. And I would suggest with everything, have a little go in pencil before you commit to doing it in pen, because obviously pencil you can rub out, but pen you can't. So there's my arrows, and I just rub those pencil lines out. When we then move on to start adding our bits of our mind mapping, I'm just going to do the materials that I could use as an example. So what we want to do is, again, we want to bring our ruler in and we want to draw some straight lines. So I'm just using the edge of the piece of paper to line up with my ruler, and you can't see that at the minute because it's slightly off the screen, so I'll just move it over, lining my ruler up with the edge of my page so that I know I have a straight line. So then I'm going to draw my first straight line. That's where my title is going to go, and I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 things to write down. So again, just lining my ruler up with the edge of my page. I'm just going to draw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And you can see I've not pressed particularly hard with my pencil because all these lines are going to get rubbed out. Okay, now when we're writing in art, it's really important that your teacher and potentially an external moderator as well that might come in from the exam board can read what it is that you've written on your work. Now, we haven't got the facilities for you to be going on the computer all the time and typing everything up. So there's a technique that lots of artists and designers use, because obviously artists and designers across the full range of careers in the arts have this problem. They've got to communicate to clients and they've got to do it in a way that's clear and everybody can access it. So there's one thing that artists tend to do when they're writing things down, and I'm going to show you what that is. So materials that I could use, I'm going to put a big capital M, but then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use smaller capitals for the rest of the words, except for the I, because obviously that should be a bigger capital as well. So anything you need to be a capital letter, you just make a bit bigger, but then we are using caps for the rest of it. We're just shrinking that size down slightly. Okay, so then underneath I'm going to put a bullet point, and we've got our first one now, mind map, that is pencil. So again, a big P, and then we're still going to use capital, but I'm just going to make those letters slightly smaller. Next one, bullet point, big capital C, small capital H, small capitals for the rest of the word. And then what that means is that all of my writing is clear, you can read it. I've ruled lines so it's nice and neat, and it's going to look effective with the rest of my work. Okay, and then once I'd done that one, obviously I'd move on to my next arrow, I'd do my next one and my next, and I'd fill up all around my title little arrow for each subheading off your mind map. Put your little subheading in. If you wanted to, you could go in under your subheading and that line that we've already drawn in pencil, I could just put that in with pen. But once we've got it all drawn out, we can rub out these pencil lines under the rest so that all of our work looks nice and neat. Our writing, we can read it, moderator can mark it, and then that is job done.